Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. If you're Canadian, you may remember people talking about a peer-to-peer lending platform called Lending Loop, which popped up around 2016. And it was a pretty big deal at the time because it gave Canadian investors a way to make money by lending to businesses across the country. The investment returns should be pretty decent based on similar platforms in other parts of the world. So today I'd like to give a quick update on how my portfolio is doing over the last 9 years that I have been on this platform and the current state of the company. Over the first few years, I've put in $23,000 of capital with this service. And then in 2020, I stopped investing new money into Lending Loop because I noticed more and more borrowers were delinquent and defaulting on their debts. So I gradually started to take money out of my account in 2022. Then I haven't really touched my account in the last year. But as you can see, the total interest I earned after fees is $18,600, which is not bad considering that $23,000 initial investment. However, like I mentioned, a lot of loans went bad. So a little over $9,000 of my money was just written off as realized losses. So even though the interest rate on the loans were pretty good, like 11 or 12%. Realistically, I only got like half of that because I lost a lot of principal. Now, the team at Lending Loop did manage to recover $672 back from the defaulted loans, but the charged off loan is still quite substantial. At the end of the day, total earnings, as you can see here, $8,174. Internal rate of return works out to be about 6%. It was higher in the beginning few years, like 8 or 10%, but since 2020, it's been going lower and lower. So cumulatively about 6%, which I guess is on par with publicly disclosed statistics where they say the estimated return on their platform is between 5.6 and 7.3 depending on the quality of loans you choose. It's a bit on the lower side, my personal returns. And maybe that's due to I'm just not really good at picking individual businesses to lend money to. One issue I've always had with picking loans on the platform is I don't see a lot of detailed information regarding the borrower's financial stability. So for example, this loan here with a 19% interest rate with a C rating, so medium risk. If you click on that, it takes you to the company details. All it tells you about why the business wants to borrow money is that they want a loan for working capital and expansion. So a lot of times like this, they don't tell you exactly what the money is being used for. Also business details, not a lot of description here about what the company does. And in the balance sheet is only a couple years of just very basic information. But I feel like they should show you at least 5 years of business history. In any case, investors on the platform don't have to worry about picking loans anymore because Lending Loop has decided to wind down the marketplace about a year ago. So there haven't been any new loan listings on the platform in quite a while. And that's why even if you have auto lend turned on, you will not be able to put your money to use on this platform. So for all intents and purposes, Lending Loop is now a dead platform. Now, the 2020 recession and the cause of that economic downturn obviously did hurt this platform quite a bit, not only reducing the number of borrowers, but also lenders have lost interest. Like Lending Loop has a statistic here with the number of active investors, and this number hasn't really changed much in the last 4 or 5 years. So in terms of what I'll be doing with my portfolio, probably just taking the money out. Over the last couple of years, I have accumulated $8,000 back from my initial investments. Most of this is principal getting paid back. I still have some existing loans currently in my portfolio, but these will be maturing over the next couple of years, and hopefully they will not be delinquent and I will get all of my money back, even though it's not a lot, just $800 outstanding in current loans of my portfolio. So yeah, I'll be taking the money out of my account and then putting it elsewhere to work for me. The majority of the loans that I have picked in the past were mostly rated A, B, and Cs. I usually didn't go too risky with my portfolio exposure. Although it would be nice to see the platform continue to grow, I guess the Canadian market is just not big enough. Now, that being said, I don't think Lending Loop is technically a failure because at the end of the day, I was fortunate enough to make some money out of the platform instead of losing money, which I'm sure happened to some people. And in terms of moving forward with this company, the founder of Lending Loop started a new fintech a couple of years ago called Loop, aiming to service the business-to-business industry. And from what I've read so far, it looks like there could be an investment opportunity for existing lenders of Lending Loop to put some money to work with this new company. So some people are calling it a rebrand, but I think it is two separate companies with very different services. Now, Lending Loop has fizzled out, but there are other private lending alternatives for investors like GoPeer, so that's probably worth checking out if you're interested in other P2P style platforms. And it's just a good reminder that although alternative investments like private lending can be a good way to make money, I still like to have the majority of my portfolio in the financial markets for reliable long-term returns. Speaking of which, the S&P 500 is having a great week, going up by more than 4% so far. We'll see how it closes out this week today on Friday. So tomorrow I'm going to post another video with my market analysis going into next week. And also I'm going to share a trade that I'm doing this week with gold. And it's probably not what you think. I am not buying gold, but I'm also not selling gold per se. It's actually a trade based on the relationship between gold and the S&P 500. So look for that tomorrow. I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you again soon.